in the other map, in the map on the left, you can see that the map shows different reliefs. You see there are mountains, and there are plateaus, and there are plains, and we are surrounded by different countries. On the left, yes, we have Chile, which is a very thin along the western border. Then we have Bolivia going to the right. We have Bolivia in the north, Paraguay in the north, Brazil, which surrounds the whole northeast, and Uruguay. Yes? So we are surrounded by countries that speak Spanish as the main language, and Brazil, where Portuguese is spoken. My region, where I am now, is in Misiones. You see in the map that there is in the northeast, there is like a wedge, yes, like something very thin that gets into Brazil. Well, that is where I am. That is the province of Misiones, where I am. Yes, and Misiones is 1,002 kilometers from Buenos Aires, which is the capital city. So imagine, from the north to the south, there are more than 3,000 kilometers. I think that there are 4 and something kilometers from the northern part to the southern part, right? Now, let's go to the organization of a country. The next. Qué lástima que yo no lo puedo manejar de acá. It's a pity. A ver. Más opciones. Can you show us the next slide, please?
It's already the next slide. It's organization. Can you see?
No, I can't see that, but it's okay because I know what it says. If you can see it, that's fine. The organization of a country, well, we have a population of about 44 million people. The capital city is Buenos Aires, which is an autonomous city. In the past, it used to be called Federal District. Distrito of, it was Capital Federal. That was like a federal district that was independent. Now it is like a province. We have 23 provinces, like states, and the autonomous city of Buenos Aires, which has its own government and the national government too. The national state, yes. Can you follow me? Is that all right? Okay.
Yeah, I can follow you.
Okay. The national state is organized like a republic. We are a federal representative republic. In fact, the whole name of Argentina is the Republic of Argentina. La República Argentina. That is the full name of my country, La República Argentina. And it is organized into provinces, which are independent somehow, not completely independent, but we have some decisions, federal decisions that we can take as provinces, and the city of Buenos Aires, which is also an autonomous city. The national government lies in Buenos Aires. That is to say, the president and the vice president, that the executive power, then the legislative power, Congress, is made up of representatives and senators, like in the United States, and then the judicial power, the high courts, right? Okay, that is what I wrote about the organization, the political organization, or the administrative organization. As regards our history, as I told you before, Argentina was discovered, between inverted commas, because when the Spanish people came here, when the conquistadores came, Argentina was already populated by many, about more than 20 different groups of native people. The whole country was populated by native people, different groups of people, and many of them with a quite a rich culture and with languages that are still studied today. And some of these people still exist and have survived all these years, all these centuries of Western, let's say, population. Yes? What I wrote here is that, well, it was conquered by the Spanish people in the 16th century after the arrival of Christopher Columbus. Many other conquistadores followed, and they came here to settle. Some of them to settle. Then, in the from the year 1810 to 1816, when the Spanish crown had problems because we were being attacked by Napoleon, these colonies, I mean, the Spanish government became weaker because the king was in prison. So they saw, I mean, the criollos, the Creole people, saw that there was an opportunity of gaining independence. So from the year 1810 to the year 1816, there is a process of independization. Our most important patriotic dates are the 25th of May, that it was in 1810, when the first Creole government, the first patriotic government, settled. It was called, nosotros decimos, el primer grito de libertad. Yes, the first cry of freedom. And finally, 6 years after that, in 1816, on the 9th of July, the independence was, the act of independence was signed. So we became completely independent from Spain in 1816. What you can see there are some pictures, some paintings from the colonial times, and you can see in both pictures a building that is called Cabildo. That was the town hall. El Cabildo, that it's written with B, not with V, but with B, Cabildo. The Cabildo is the town hall, or the historic town hall. Those pictures are pictures from Buenos Aires, where the first national government was settled. Buenos Aires is a port, the most important port of the country. That's why it is so important, because it was during the colonial times, it was a very important place from where goods were transported to Europe and to other parts of the world, especially to Europe, and still is a very important port that is used by Paraguay, and in colonial times it was even used by Peruvians and by Colombian people, because it was the route towards Europe. So the goods came from the north to Buenos Aires and from Buenos Aires to Europe. Right. Then that is in the early 19th century, right? Can we see the next slide? There. From during the 19th century, from 1816 to 1880, there was a period of organization of the country. Yes, because there were you must know Argentina, because Argentina is a place where things are quite chaotic. Although there are very intelligent people, the education system is very good, universities are great, and we have had many important scientists and writers and painters, artists. Even in spite of that, Argentina is chaotic, and we are always fighting one another. Fighting, not fighting really, but arguing. Yes, because we are a mixture of cultures, and we haven't yet established our own cultural role, let's say, right? Okay. So what I wrote there is the organization of the country. Then in 1853, the first constitution was signed. In the middle of national wars, because there were unitarios versus federales, that is people who wanted just one central government, and the others wanted a federal government, and they fought a lot. Well, in the middle of all that struggle, the first constitution was signed. And from there were more important, more crucial steps towards the organization of a modern country. That's why I wrote there. Another important moment before that was the war, the war of the Triple Alliance, la Guerra de la Triple Alianza. La Guerra de la Triple Alianza was a very harsh war in which many brothers died, because it was a war of Brazil, Argentina, and Uruguay against Paraguay. Paraguay before the war was a very powerful country, and we were in 1864. Yes, so it was the mid 19th century, and Paraguay was already industrialized. At the time of the war, when the war started, Paraguay was a very powerful country, and all the others were very jealous and very afraid of the power of such a tiny country that was in the middle of America. Yes, and so guided and aided and funded by British and North American powers, economic powers, not the governments themselves, but the powers, the people who had the power, they started the war. And the war lasted for 4 years, 5 years, and it meant the devastation of Paraguay. Yes, Paraguay was destroyed after this war, because imagine it, such a tiny country with a small amount of population against Argentina, Brazil, and Uruguay, with the aid of the British and the North American powers. So imagine. Well, when this war ended, Argentina lost many soldiers, but not so many as Paraguay. The population of Paraguay was diminished. I think it was cut to 1/3 of the population. That was, as you say, 2/3 of the population, especially men, died during the war. Well, when the war finished, we are in the year 1820, that is to say, the end of the 19th century, and the country was becoming a modern country, especially in the area of Buenos Aires and some areas nearby. And so the government saw that there were very few people here, and that we needed more inhabitants for such a vast country. So there was a policy of immigration started. The same as in the United States, because it was a time of a lot of war in Europe, and European people wanted to go away from Europe at that time, yes, because they were suffering from hunger, there were a lot of wars, and they wanted to look, and there were a lot of romanticism too in Europe. Yes, they were romantics because it was a time when they thought that they could, that outside Europe they could have a better life, and so a lot of Europeans went to the United States and also came to Argentina. If we can see the next slide, where we have some pictures of immigrants. Yes, there. You see, la gran inmigración, that is to say, the big immigration. We received in the end of the 18th century and the beginning of the 20th century, we received more than 4,200,000 inhabitants, yes, immigrants from Europe, especially from Europe, from Poland, from the US, as well, what then became the Russia and all the USSR, all that area of Poland, and a lot of Polish people, especially here in Misiones. We have a big heritage of Polish people, right? You can see there a piece of information. This is a graph that I included of the census of 1900, I think. And you can see that Italian people the red line indicates the amount of Italian people that there were, the Spanish people, and then the white one is the Argentine people. So you see, at the beginning of the 20th century, the 1900s, there were more Italians and Spanish people than Argentine people, that is to say, people born here. And then you have all the other immigrants from different countries of the world, right? But especially from Europe. Remember that in the 19th century, we have the situation in Europe that, those political and problems and social problems that the First and the Second World War implied, yes, and so there were many Spanish people, especially from Italy, where Mussolini was in power, and in Spain, where Franco was in power. There were a lot of people that wanted to get away because of political differences, because they were persecuted in their own countries, because they were against the regime, and so, well, they decided to come to the United States and to Argentina. And many other countries, I suppose, but I don't know the history of other countries. Perhaps if you are from other countries of America, you can tell that, all right? Well, so then in the 20th century, as I said, more immigrants came, and around the year, between the First World War and the Second World War, that's to say, between the year 1919 and the year 1940, let's say, a lot of Europeans came to Argentina, and many of them settled in provinces like my province, Misiones, which is populated by, in which 90% of the population comes from those immigrants. But we also have native people that are the Mbia people, Guarani people, yes, Guarani people that are an important part of our heritage. And then we have immigration from, as we are surrounded, here in Misiones, we are surrounded by frontiers, Paraguay and Brazil. So many people from the neighboring countries come, right? Okay. Anything you want to ask me about this?
Oh, it's already over, or you want to
No.
talk about it?
I will go on with. I will go on with that. This is about our history and our cultural heritage, and then I'm going to go on with the landscape, food, drink. But I wanted to know if you wanted to ask me anything, because as this is a conversation class.
Yep.
I don't know if you want to.
For you guys, if you have any,
I don't want you to fall asleep. I am in the
Okay.
morning, but you are in the evening, so perhaps you are feeling a bit sleepy.
No, very interesting, the history of Argentina. I don't know the history of your country.
All right. Well, if you want later on to talk more about this, we can arrange something else, because I love my country, and I as I have taught for many years. Yes, I'm not a teacher of history. I always taught English, but and Spanish. But when you teach a language, you have to talk about, these subjects. Yes, and so, well, that's why I know a little bit. Well, yes. Would you like me to go on with the landscape? Yes?
Continue.
Okay, let's continue then. Right. I don't know how much time. When are we going to finish, Anna?
Actually, your session to presentation actually only like 15 minutes. Yeah. And actually, it's already over, but okay. It's already over, okay. But it is okay if you want to have a like a conversation.
Yes.
If you want to have a conversation and then you wanna go on, that's all right.
I can go on.
Yeah, and we will have until like 32 minutes.
Okay, right. So I will go for some say 15 minutes more, and then if you want, I can stay and we can talk a little bit more, or you talk with your students. I don't mind. Right. So after this very brief history of my country, which is, then there are political and many historical things that we can talk about. I would like you to show you some, or to talk about relief and landscape. That is what we have today, because this was history, and it was about people and about the population of Argentina and the different groups that make up our population, let's say. But now I have some pictures of there. I have some pictures of relief and landscape. As I told you before, and then you can check in the map. There are we have all the climates and all the reliefs, like in the United States, because Argentina is a very long country, let's say. Yes, that it's where I live is a subtropical region with with no rainy season, no wet season, let's just say that it rains the whole year. But then this is the east, and then in the north, in the middle, we have a region of a climate that is subtropical, but with a time of the year in which it doesn't rain. And then we have the mountains. In this slide that Anna is showing you, you can see different parts of the country. Here, for example, you can see some mountains that are red and violet, and this is this is in the northwest, in Jujuy, yes, which is very near Bolivia and Chile. And this is called El Cerro de los Siete Colores, which is in the Humahuaca, Quebrada de Humahuaca. Quebrada de Humahuaca is, me sale ahora en English, es, me va a salir. Quebrada de Humahuaca is a mountain that it was cut as if you cut a cake, and you can see the different colors. It is called quebrada because quebrada means broken. So that is the name of that place, Quebrada de Humahuaca, which is a very famous landmark landscape in Argentina. Many tourists come to see this place because it's really beautiful, and it's surrounded by mountains, and it's a place that is similar to Bolivia. I mean, the culture is is similar to Bolivia and to Chile, the north of Chile. Then in the picture in the center, you can see a lighthouse in Ushuaia. Yes, un faro. Lighthouse is faro, un faro. That is to say, faro means lighthouse, and that faro, that lighthouse, it's the southernmost lighthouse in the world, because Ushuaia is the southernmost part of the world, inhabited part of the world. Yes, that is in the very, very south of Argentina. The next picture in the right is the Iguazu Falls. That is in my province, in the northern part of my province. The Iguazu Falls are waterfalls in the Iguazu River. That is it's as if the land, the rock was cut, and so the river, when the river comes down, the water falls and forms one of the wonders of the world. The Iguazu Fall was declared one of 7 natural wonders of the world some years ago, and it's a very famous and beautiful place in the forests, where you can see, I mean, it's a protected area, so there are wild animals, there are jaguars, which are protected, there are some other animals, beautiful birds, lots of birds and butterflies. It's the Iguazu National Park. Then, if you go to the left again, you can see lakes in the southwest of the country, near, I mean, in the middle of the country, but to the west. There you have the region of the lakes that is similar to the region of the lakes that we have in Ontario, and I mean those areas in Canada and the United States. It's very similar. Water is very cold, and it's very pure because it comes from the mountains, the Andes Mountains, which are the highest mountains in America, right? Very new mountains of the tertiary period. It's a beautiful landscape. Then you can Google the region of the lakes, la región de los lagos, Bariloche, Villa Langostura, Bariloche, Villa Langostura. Those places are beautiful places, similar to Switzerland or to Canada and the United States, where the Niagara Falls are. Well, that is very similar.
Okay. Pardon, Maria.
Yes.
Actually, I say that you only have 15 minutes. It means that it's already over. Yeah, because actually 15 minutes is already from a few minutes ago. And I think for now we still only have like 25 minutes. So I think it's better for question and answer session. What do you think?
Okay. Yes, okay. It's all right. It's all right. As you please. I am at your service because the objective here is for you to learn English and to learn more about Argentina. But it's okay. Yes, let me know whatever you need.
Okay. So you guys, if you have any question about Argentina, whatever it is, you may ask question to Maria.
Anna, just one thing. I suggest you show them the pictures because the following slides are just pictures. So perhaps those pictures may want them to know about them, and so we can talk, because as the pictures are about landscape and also about food and drink, perhaps they can ask me about that.
Yeah, sure, of course. Yep. Yes. I can share. Yeah, I can share it.
So. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So you guys, if you have any question, please go on.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like food and drink very much, but I like empanadillas, no?
Empanadas. In Argentina, they are called empanadas. They are
how this
made. I eat empanadas in the Argentine restaurant in Las Palmas in Gran Canaria. I live in Canary Island. I like very much. I like the
stuffing?
Meat, yes, la carne me gusta mucho, sí.
The meat, yes, the stuffing, el relleno.
Okay.
El relleno, relleno, dirían los porteños, yo digo relleno. That is a stuffing, made of meat, yes, minced meat. Yes. Any other?
Yes. I see. Oh, sorry.
Yes, sorry. No. Yes, go on, Rito. Sorry.
Yes, I think I see the mountain, the several color like a rainbow. It is in Peru. There are another mountain like this mountain, I think.
Yes, maybe, I don't know, but maybe, because it's the same region. Yes, Peru is just say 1,000 kilometers from Jujuy, where this photo was taken. Yes, so maybe because the whole area of the Andes lie from Colombia in the north to Argentina, to Chile and Argentina in the south. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's right. Any other question?
Okay. Anyone?
Irena?
Any else? Irena? Yeah.
I have a question.
Yep.
Do you have a previous language before the Spain colonized Argentina?
Yes, many languages.
What is it called?
Well, not one language, because we were, just a minute. I have to plug my computer because the battery is finishing.
Yes.
And it might be a disaster if we. So just a second, and I'll be with you. I was telling you that in Argentina there were many different native groups. ¿Ves? No sé qué pasa, que no puedo enchufar. Ahí está. Ahí está. Ahora sí. Now we can go on. There were many different groups. The most important groups were the groups of the Northwest that spoke Quechua. Yes, Quechua was spoken, or Quechua was spoken in the north, in all the provinces of the Northwest. Guarani was spoken in all this region where I live, because Guarani is also a heritage language. Yes, el lenguaje de los pueblos originarios. We don't call them Indians anymore. We call them pueblos originarios. Originario
is. Speak Aymara.
No, Aymara is from Peru. No, that is from Peru. Here, in the provinces of the Northwest, Quechua was spoken, and also Guarani was spoken. Yes.
Okay.
Bolivia. Someone said there that in Bolivia, Aymara it was spoken in Bolivia. Yes, right. Thank you.
What about people? Do you have indigenous people just like in Peru they have Incas? Do you also have like that? What are they called?
In my region are the Guarani or Guaraníes, okay. And Guarani Guarani is a very rich culture and language.
Yeah.
And here in my region, the Jesuit fathers came in the 15th century. Yes, in the 16th century, and stayed here for a long time. And they wrote Guarani. They wrote many books and dictionaries in Guarani. Yes, which is
okay.
Guarani is the language, and also the name of the people. And there are three different groups within the Guarani people. The Mbia, which are the ones that live here in Misiones. Yes, they are only 1% of the population, but they are an important group, and the culture has left many important things in the language, in the food, in the way of living.
Okay. My next question is not related to the topic. It's about yourself. Do you teach English online or in school or in academy?
Well, nowadays I teach English online and prepare students for, some private students, as we have this problem of the pandemic and the lockdown. I teach at home, from home. I'm retired from the system, let's say. I used to be a teacher at university. I prepared teachers. I was a teacher trainer at university. And I also worked at primary and secondary school, English as a foreign language. We have a subject at school, and we teach our children, and young people at primary, at secondary school. And then I that's why I find in the last years of my career as a teacher, the last 20 years, it was a long time, I worked as a teacher trainer at university. Yes, but now I'm retired from the system, but I still have 4 or 5 students online at different moments. Yes.
Okay. So you are now freelance.
That's right. You're right.
Okay,
That's
okay.
it. That's it.
Maria,
Nowadays,
you,
but I receive a pension. Yes, I receive a money, and I live on the on. I mean, I live on my retirement budget. Let's say. Yes.
Maria, you look very young.
Thank
you
you, but I
retire,
am
huh?
60. I am 60.
Oh,
The question is that teachers in Argentina, we have a special law here, and if you have worked for 30 years, for 30 years, you can retire no matter the age you are. As I started
okay.
very early, I started teaching when I was 18. When I was 53, I was ready to retire, and I retired some years ago from the system, and I am 60 now. Yes, but yes,
Yeah.
I feel young. I feel young, but I don't have to get up and hurry up and go to exam and all those things that I used to do.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm still wearing brackets, you see?
Yep.
Still very young. I
Oh, what is
decided
that?
to straighten
Braces?
my teeth. So imagine, I feel young because I'm still I'm like a teenager wearing
Ah,
brackets to
you
straighten
have
my orthodonts. Yes,
okay. You have braces on your teeth?
yes, braces. Yes, that's right.
Age is just a number.
That's right. Yes, indeed it is. Right.
Any else question? Maybe Jose?
No,
Dennis?
I only know the history,
Uh-huh.
the South America, but only the Caribbean history, Simon
Mm-hmm.
Bolivar, but I don't
Mm-hmm.
know the Libertador, the name of the Libertador of
Uh-huh.
Argentina,
Well,
Martin
the name of
or
San
San
Martin.
Martin.
San
San
Martin.
Martin. Okay.
He was Jose de San Martin. Yes, Jose
Okay.
de San Martin is our Libertador, as you said. Yes, the father of the nation. Although we have some other important patriots, like for example Manuel Belgrano. Yes, Manuel Belgrano is the Belgrano. Manuel Belgrano was is the creator of our flag, and we have his day, the flag's day, next Sunday. Tomorrow, yes, tomorrow, the 20th of June is our Flag Day, and we celebrate that on memory of Manuel Belgrano, who was a very important figure during the liberation process and the emancipation process from Spain. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. And I have a question about tourism. What is the best month or months to visit Argentina?
That depends where you want to go. If you want to come to Misiones, to this area where I show you to see the red soil and the waterfalls, the best place, the best moment is either in autumn or in spring, because it's spring here, that is to say in September, because it is not very hot. It's hot, but not so much. If you want to go to the mountains and to see the snow and to ski, then the best moment is